Today we're going to see a guy in tactical Crocs go ham on a robber.
Today's video is brought to us by Mantis. The Mantis family of products is integral to ASP staff building handgun and carbine skills and are your most economical and fastest path to improvement in your skills too. Whether you choose the X10, the Laser Academy, the Blackbeard, or use them all in concert, they will help your practice be more effective, efficient, and fun. Go check them out, pick up a unit, and thank them for sponsoring today's video.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's research-informed defensive lesson here at Active Self-Protection. I am your host, John Correa. Today's video comes to us from the city of Santos in Brazil. On the right, you see an elderly guy just walking down the street. Now watch the dude on the bicycle is going to roll up on him and just snatch his chain from off of his neck. And when he does, there's a bystander there who's like, no way, buddy. This apparently happens a lot in that town. And he is going to give this young whippersnapper the right hand of fellowship 4 times there. Then dude tries to run off and he's like, nope. So he's going to give him a little introduction to the pavement there, hit him with the earth. And then they're going to hold our miscreant down until the authorities arrive. You watch our victim there go over and recognize, oh, there's my chain. So he actually got his chain back. I would guess that the clasp of it was broken, which sucks, but he appears to be unhurt. And now you can see our ne'er-do-well is kind of trying to talk his way out of trouble, and a bunch of other people have showed up, and at least for his sakes, sort of the beatings have stopped, so they're just kind of holding him there. Again, our victim, according to the news stories I've linked in the description, got his chain back. Authorities arrested this idiot who's a teen, and no one else was harmed. So what do you think of him wearing the tactical flippy floppies? I hear from the Tactibros from time to time that, don't wear flip-flops, they'll get you killed on the streets. But after analyzing thousands and thousands and thousands of defensive encounters caught on camera, I've really never seen them be a problem. So I don't really care. How about you? First thing I want to talk about here is being in a vulnerable population. It does make you more likely to face attack if you're a member of a vulnerable population. That would be elderly people. That would be women. That would be those who have an obvious disability that physically limits them. So if you're in those demographics, you got to recognize that you are more likely to be chosen as a victim for violence because perpetrators will look at you like you're easy meat. So you got to take additional steps to prepare yourself, additional steps to protect yourself. That's just the reality of the world we live in. Now, also in here, we have an issue of transitional spaces. And where, again, a transitional space is anywhere a bad guy can attack with an element of surprise. Here, because he's able to get up on the bicycle quickly, that he is able to get away quickly. The bicycle does that here. And again, the news stories I've linked in the description talk about how this is a big deal in this neighborhood and that the perps use their bicycles like this all the time and that they find valuables. So, of course, you just walking down the street, they assume you've got a phone, a wallet, those things. But also if you're flashing jewelry. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to flash jewelry. I am saying, hey man, you got to recognize that does, if you're in a vulnerable population, give a bad guy an additional reason to choose you. So be wise about things, right? Make sure that your victim profile isn't too big. If you don't want to get eaten, don't look like food. Now, he does, start to get away, but I want to note that this bystander is a brave stud, and props to him for that. I want to say, recognize that there is some things that you see that you just have to respond to. And some people are higher responders than others, and you got to decide how high is your response curve. And some people here, after seeing a good outcome, will say, oh, well, wait, I would have gotten involved too. But recognize that hindsight bias is a real thing, that you might go, man, I would get involved because I see that he won this fight. But there was risk here, and significant risk. If this guy is armed, if his buddies are across the street and decide to come over and stomp you into a mud puddle. So pay attention to that, right? And listen, your skill set better match your attitude. And for a lot of us, I know a lot of people that they're like, yeah, man, I'm really cool, but they've never been in a fist fight in their life, and they've, never wrestled or anything like that, never taken a boxing class, for goodness sakes. So don't think that you're going to just suddenly rise to the occasion. You'll fall to the level of your training. Now, knocks this guy over. That's fine. Then he offers him here the right hand of fellowship, and you see 4 punches there. I think I have no problem with this, okay? To stop somebody committing this is a larceny, right? So is it really a robbery? Did he really use force or the threat of force to take the property? I mean, he snatched it off his person. So I could make a case it's a robbery. So stopping that, certainly you can use ordinary force, no question about that, and a reasonable amount of ordinary force. And I feel like this was. And so you can use a reasonable amount of force, but remember, you don't want to go into punishment. Protection is one thing, punishment's another. You don't want it to end up giving him an educational beatdown, and then the prosecutor says, no, man, this isn't any good. And you end up catching charges for it. You'll get some leeway, okay? But be cautious with that. Now, here, I think something that a lot of people don't spend a lot of time on in their defensive training, and a lot of people that carry firearms, maybe they even use some less lethal tools, but they don't work in the standing grappling arena very much. And I really think it's a valuable thing. You can learn this in jiu-jitsu for sure. It's Brazil here. Obviously, they study a lot of jiu-jitsu, judo, and sambo, wrestling, those things, how to take somebody to the ground. Harder than you think it is if you've never really practiced it, but it's just a very simple trip is all that is. So we used a very simple sweep to get that guy off his feet. And I don't know what the judoka would call it. There's fancy Japanese names for it, but gets him down on his back and okay, fine. Now you can start to control somebody, right? Get him off his feet first, then pass his legs, then control him and control all the controllables and then probably hold him there. Now, I also want to note here, good on our victim for getting his stuff back. I'm super glad he wasn't hurt. And notice that the bystander effect got broken. Once one person decided to step in, a lot of people decided to step in. Once they kind of figured, okay, we've got a good chance now of it going our way. So if you're the first one, though, recognize you're the one that's going to absorb all the risk. And thankfully, in this case, worked out. This is an unarmed guy, our hero, and I really see him as a hero, stepped in and saved the day. I don't think he used too much force. I think him giving that guy the right hand of fellowship is fine. It's good. It's lovely. No problems whatsoever. So in the end of things, the best outcome here would have been not to be victimized to begin with. But given that our miscreant is who he is, I'd say our defender won a flawless victory and definitely covered his asp.